Lips, teeth, tip of the tongue. Lips, teeth, tip of the tongue. Yeah!
Over the past couple of weeks, I cannot take my eyes off of the Chosen Season 5 interviews. I've already covered some of my favorite interviews with Jonathan Roumie and Dallas Jenkins separately, but when I saw that they made a video together talking about the Chosen Season 5, I knew that I was going to get the best of both worlds, and I absolutely did. Especially the part where they talked about the emotional toll of filming The Chosen Season 5 brought tears to my eyes. Warning, there are slight spoilers ahead for The Chosen Season 5. Jesus, I cannot wait to watch those scenes. Honestly, it always feels amazing to see that these two people do their absolute best in adapting the Bible onto the screen. And they are so emotionally invested in the project to the point that whenever they even just talk about it, I can feel how moved they are by their own work. Which The Chosen Season 5 scene are you most excited about? Can't wait to hear your hopes for the new season. Overall though, knowing how far they have come thanks to this project, I'm not surprised to see the two care so deeply about The Chosen. If you didn't know, before landing the role of Jesus in The Chosen, Jonathan was primarily involved in smaller acting roles, voiceovers, and short films. While he had portrayed Jesus in a few smaller projects, none had the profound reach or impact of The Chosen. Jonathan struggled with the inconsistencies and uncertainties of an acting career. In an interview with Fox News, he shared, "I was broke, jobless, and about to give up the business. I just surrendered everything to God." Jonathan has also mentioned how portraying Jesus has been life-changing, not just professionally, but also spiritually. He has spoken about his deepening faith as a result of his work on the show. The responsibility of portraying Christ. It forces you to dive deeper into your own spiritual life, Jonathan said in an interview. He also notes that the role has brought him closer to his faith, allowing him to reflect on Christ's teachings and the impact of his love. Jonathan has remarked that playing Jesus has profoundly affected his spiritual life, stating, "I've grown as a Christian in ways I never thought possible." And let's admit, portraying Jesus is perhaps the biggest challenge that an actor can take. Despite playing the part for years now, Jonathan is still struggling at times to deliver the perfect expression for certain situations. Are you surprised to hear about Jonathan's challenges when it comes to portraying Jesus? Let me know in the comments below. What about Dallas, though? Well, Dallas had a more behind-the-scenes career in filmmaking. He worked on several projects, including Hometown Legend and What If, and directed The Resurrection of Gavin Stone in 2017, which is a faith-based film that performed poorly at the box office. In interviews, Dallas described this setback as a moment of failure that left him at a crossroads in his career. He has openly discussed how this failure led to a humbling experience, one that pushed him to rely more on his faith and seek God's guidance in his work. This period of introspection eventually led to the idea of The Chosen. Dallas was inspired to create a project that would portray the life of Jesus in a relatable and humanizing way. His mission was to use The Chosen to tell a deeper and more personal story of Christ and his followers. In Dallas's words, "The impact of The Chosen on my life is beyond anything I could have imagined. It has grown my faith and deepened my relationship with God." Despite working so hard, Dallas is still struggling to reflect his exact vision onto the screen and has some regrets over things that he could not achieve even about the previous season. Do you appreciate Dallas's vision over the series, or do you think he could have done better? Let me know in the comments. Regardless, it is clear that since The Chosen premiered, both Jonathan and Dallas have seen their lives and careers take on new significance. The series quickly gained popularity, becoming one of the most successful crowd-funded media projects in history. But this does not mean that the duo is in this project only for career reasons. On the contrary, we know that they both feel very strongly about the project when it comes to their spirituality as well. In fact, both Jonathan and Dallas speak frequently about the spiritual influence The Chosen has had on them. Jonathan shares that portraying Jesus required him to go deeper into the Gospels, studying the life and words of Christ more closely than ever before. He often talks about the emotional toll and spiritual preparation necessary for the role, stating, "I have to pray before every scene just to make sure I'm in the right mindset." This process has enriched his personal faith, making him more empathetic and reflective in his daily life.
But when I last left my house before I started filming in Utah in April, I took a look around and I thought, the next time I see this place, I will have completed the Last Supper in the Garden of Gethsemane. And I was overwhelmed with emotion. I was like, Because that means the journey's almost over.
Well, this interview still manages to tear me up no matter how many times I watch it. I think it might be my favorite interview of Jonathan to this date. Let me know which Jonathan interview are you moved by the most. Dallas, on the other hand, describes the project as a journey of faith. He has publicly acknowledged that the series' success is due to divine providence, often citing moments when they faced challenges that were overcome through prayer and reliance on God. He said, "The series has grown beyond my control. I see God's hand in every aspect of it." He often reflects on how the show has drawn people closer to faith, which in turn strengthens his own beliefs.
Well, in season 5, what we just filmed, we had, instead of 4,000 people in one day, we had a few thousand people over the course of 3 weeks, 600 to 800 a day, because we were filming some really big scenes from the triumphal entry to the turning of the tables, where it was going to take us multiple days to shoot. And we didn't necessarily need 4,000 people, but we needed enough to fill the screen. And we didn't expect people to do it for 3 weeks, so we brought them out in groups. Now, there are a couple of people who did it all 3 weeks, and God bless them. But season 5 for sure has a lot of that. Season 6 is going to require that again, no doubt, because it's the crucifixion season. So when he's going through the streets, when he's on the cross, there were crowds, and it just is a really beautiful experience. We had when we were doing the triumphal entry. I mean, I can't tell you how many people. It was hundreds per day who were weeping because they felt like they were part of something really special, and for them, they were acting out what they wished they could do 2,000 years ago and worshiping Jesus. Now they know Jonathan's not Jesus, but they get a chance to act out. And for them, it was very real. And singing Hosanna and doing it for 10 hours in a day over and over and over again. They never lost their excitement. Wow. I get emotional remembering it, but it was, the actors, the crew, we were all very overwhelmed and emotional because for these people, it was real. It was an opportunity for them to be part of something special, and it's going to pay off in the final version of it because it really is something.
Well, Dallas is the man, you guys. I honestly could not think of a better name to make The Chosen. Do you have any names that you secretly wish to adapt the Bible onto the screen? Or are you content with Dallas's work? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In essence, there is no denying that The Chosen has not only elevated Jonathan and Dallas's careers, but also deepened their spiritual lives. And this is exactly why every single interview. Tell me in the comments below in which ways The Chosen has changed your life. Let's inspire each other in the comments section.